Morning and Assalamu alaikum everybody. Good morning and Assalamu alaikum everybody. Can you hear me all? Good morning and Assalamu alaikum everybody. Can you hear me all beta? Okay, Mishki Fatma. Walaikum salam Anjula. Okay, just give me 2 seconds to admit all the students and we are going to start the lecture. Hope you all will be fine and staying safe at home. Walaikum salam Fazia. Assalamu alaikum and good morning everybody. Hope you all will be fine and staying safe at home. Let us check your sound settings. I'm talking so loudly. Okay. Okay, the students who are joining me kindly keep on writing present in the chat room. Later on, I will copy down your attendance. Okay, so let's start the lecture now. Okay, before I start my lecture today, Beta, I want to tell you that for the student information for an online portal, we have uploaded an information form on the Google Classrooms and on WhatsApp groups as well. You all know it very well, I know that. So please, you have to fill in that form, okay? And last date for the submission of that form is 8th of July, okay? I'm repeating myself once again. Because the student information form for the online portal is uploaded on Google Classrooms. You have to fill in your form. Either it can be filled by your parents or you can fill it yourself. Proper information about yourself should be filled in that form. Okay, and the last date for the submission of that form is 8th of July. Okay, you have to submit that form after before 8th of July or till 8th of July. Okay, and these forms are available on Google Classrooms and WhatsApp groups. Okay, kindly read that form, all the instructions very carefully, and then start filling that form and submit that form by 8th of July. Okay. Once again, I'm repeating that the students who are joining me one by one, kindly keep writing, keep typing present in the chat box. The students who have just joined me, kindly keep typing or keep writing present in the chat box. Later on, after this lecture, I will copy down your attendance. So let's start today's lecture now. Today we have lecture number 10. Okay. Today we have lecture number 10 and date is 6th of July 2020. Once again, I'm repeating the students who have just joined me. Kindly keep on writing or keep on typing present in the chat box. Later on, I will copy down your attendance in the attendance register. Second most important thing, the student information form is uploaded on Google Classrooms and WhatsApp groups for online portal. Kindly fill in that form and submit that form by 8th of July because the submission of that form is 8th of July. Okay, so let's come back towards our lecture. Today we have lecture number 10 and date is 6th of July 2020. Okay, so as in my previous lectures, I always ask you to have your book, a rough copy, and a pen or pencil with you to copy down all the important notes or points. Okay, so today what we are going to study, today we are again going to study a Today we are again going to study a poem. Okay, today we have a poem to study. This is our lesson number 7 and page number 26. Okay, today we have again a poem and the name of the poem is From a Railway Carriage. It's our lesson number 26 and name of the poem is From a Railway Carriage and page number 26. Okay, so let's move forward now. First of all, I will give you the introduction of the poetry. As the title of the poem is From a Railway Carriage, it means it is something related to a railway. Okay, it is something related to a train. So, what is the introduction? Introduction is traveling experiences are a source of great happiness for children. In our childhood days, we all had a fascination towards traveling in train because of its length, the sound produced by the mechanical movement of the wheels, the loud horn, etc. Here in this poem from a railway carriage, Robert Louis Stevenson, the poet, describes his thrilling journey in a train and about those sights that he saw there. Because basically, the name of the poem or the title of the poem is From a Railway Carriage. And by the title of the poem, by the name of the poem, you came to know that it is something related to a train, related to a railway. And we all, not only in our childhood, in this age as well, we still enjoy the railway journey. We still enjoy the traveling by train. And by the long horn, by its length, and all the scenery that pass by the railway journey during the journey, we all enjoy that journey. Basically, this poem is all about the experience of railway by the poet. Okay, he shares his experiences, how he felt during this railway journey. Let's move forward. Okay, the students who have just joined me, better kindly write present in the chat box. Later on, I will copy down your attendance. I'm repeating once again, the students who have just joined me, kindly write present in the chat box. Later on, I will copy down your attendance. I hope I'm clear to all of you now. Okay. Okay, so first of all, we are coming towards the reference of the poem. This poem is written by Robert Louis Stevenson. Date of year of birth is 1850 and year of death is 1894. He is a Scottish novelist, poet, and essayist. He was born in Edinburgh. His formal education was greatly interrupted by illness and was frequently taken for holidays. He tried to study engineering, then law, but in 1873 he decided to embark upon. Okay, the meaning of embark is to take a start. Okay, the meaning of embark is to take a start. Okay, he decided to embark upon a literary career. His novels Treasure Island and Kidnapped are well known. In another one, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. He shows how every individual has tendencies to do both good and evil. He really loved children and understood them, but this point shows his skill as a poet. Okay, this is all about the introduction of the poet, about the reference of the poet. First of all, I want to repeat myself. The students who have just joined me, kindly write present in the chat box. Later on, I will copy down the attendance. The students who have just joined me, kindly write present in the chat box. Later on, I will copy down your attendance. Okay, so let's move towards the reference or introduction of the poem. What we were studying, the name of the poem is from a railway carriage. And who has written this poem? This poem has been written by Robert Louis Stevenson. What is the birth? Year of birth is 1850 and year of death is 1894. He is a Scottish novelist, poet, and essayist. You have to learn all these three things, all these three characteristics of the poet. He was a novelist, poet, and essayist. This can be given to you in the form of MCQs or fill in the blanks. So please learn these three characteristics of Robert Louis Stevenson, that he was a Scottish novelist, poet, and essayist. Okay. Now the place of birth. He was born in Edinburgh. Okay, you have to learn it. His formal education was greatly interrupted by illness. Okay, he because of his illness, his education was greatly interrupted. He tried to study engineering, then he tried to study law. But later on, in 1873, he decided to embark upon a literary career. And I have told you the meaning of embark. Embark means to take a start. So first of all, he tried to study engineering, then he tried to study law, but later on in 1873, he decided to embark upon the literary career. Okay, so he took a start upon a literary career finally. Okay, what were the famous novels of Robert Louis Stevenson? His famous novels were Treasure Island and Kidnapped and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. He shows how every individual has tendencies to do both good and evil. He really loved children and understood them. This poem shows his skill as a poet. So what we have studied in this reference of the poet, his name, Robert Louis Stevenson, his year of birth 1850, his year of death 1894, his three characteristics, that he was a novelist, he was a poet, and he was an essayist. What was the place of birth? His place of birth was Edinburgh. His formal education was greatly interrupted due to the illness and he frequently taken for holidays. He tried to study engineering and law, but in 1873 he started to take a start. He took a start upon a literary career. What were his famous novels? His famous novels were Treasure Island and Kidnapped, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Okay, so what did he want to tell us? He wanted to tell us that every individual has two faces, the good one and the evil one. Okay, every individual has two faces. Every individual has two faces, the good one and the bad one. The good one and the evil one. It means that a man, a person, a human being has two sides, two faces, a good side and an evil side. So in this poem as well, from a railway carriage, the poem as well, the writer is telling us two sides of this journey, the good one and the bad one, the happier one and the sad one. Okay, we will study it later. So, what is next? What points you are supposed to learn about the poet? I have told you in the previous lectures as well what you are supposed to learn in about the reference or introduction of the poet, and the points are you are supposed to learn the date or year of birth and death, what is the theme of poetry, and place of birth, and last thing is names of famous poems. All these four things are mentioned in the reference of the poem, okay, reference of the poet. year of death, year of or date of birth and death both are mentioned, theme of poetry is mentioned, place of birth is mentioned, and names of famous poets are mentioned. All these 4 points related to the reference of the poet or introduction of the poet are very, very important for you to learn because these points can be given to you in the form of fill in the blanks. These points can be given to you in the form of MCQs. So please you have to learn all these things. Okay. These three characteristics are very important for you to learn. What are the three characteristics? The characteristics are that he was a Scottish novelist, a poet, and essayist as well. Okay. So this was all about the reference of the poet. Let's move towards the poetry now. First of all, I am going towards the first stanza of the poem of the poetry. Acha, I just want to repeat myself once again two important points. The one point is, the first point is for the student information for online portal, we have uploaded a form on Google Classrooms and on WhatsApp groups. You have to fill in that form and you have to submit that form by 8th of July. Okay, the submission of that form is last date is 8th of July, so you have to submit that form by 8th of July. And second important point is those who are joining me one by one, kindly keep writing or keep typing present in the chat box. Later on, I will copy down your attendance. Okay, so let's move towards the poetry. The first stanza now. Faster than fairies, faster than witches, bridges and houses, hedges and ditches, and charging along like troops in a battle, all through the meadows, the horses and cattle. Okay, first of all, I want to tell you the meanings of difficult words. Okay, embark. If you remember, when we were studying, when we were reading the reference or introduction of the poet, I have told you the meaning. I have told Hashi Beta kindly write Mohammed Daniel, kindly fill in the form and submit by 8th of July. Later on, we will inform you what you are supposed to do. Okay? Hashibeta write present in the chat box. Okay. I have told you the meaning of embark in the reference of the poet. What is the meaning of embark? Embark means to make a start. Hedges. Hedges means a row of bushes or tall plants जिसको हम उर्दू में झाड़ियाँ भी कहते हैं. Ditches. A narrow channel dug in or between fields or roads to hold or carry off water. Okay. Troops. Troops means a group of soldiers. Meadows. Meadows means a grassy field. So let's move towards the poetry again, the stanza again, and we are coming towards the explanation. Faster than fairies, faster than pitches, bridges and houses, hedges and ditches, and charging along like troops in a battle, all through the meadows, the horses and cattle. So we are moving towards its explanation now. Stanza number one. And what is the explanation? In this one, poet shares in this poem, poet shares his experience of a railway journey with us. He presents he presents natural scenes seen from the window of a railway carriage. Basically, I have told you previously as well, in my previous slides as well, Vida, that this poem is all about the experiences of the poet about his railway journey. Okay, he shares his experiences, what he has seen during the railway journey, what were the natural scenes that were passed by during the railway journey. This is all about that railway journey, experience of railway journey. Okay, so Poet says that train runs more quickly than the fairies can fly or the witches can move. When train advances forward, it seems as the soldiers are attacked unspeaking enemy in a battlefield. The train rushes on, leaving bridges, houses, fences, and ditches behind. It also leaves behind the green fields where horses and cattle are grazing. Okay, let's move towards the stanza C. Faster than fairies, faster than witches. In first line of this stanza, the poet is comparing the speed of the train with fairies and witches. We all know what does fairies mean. We all know what does witches mean. Fairies mean in Urdu we say pariyan, and witches means you can say jadugarni. Okay, and these fairies and witches have a, a magical power or a hidden power, and with the help of that hidden power, all these creatures, fairies and witches, move so fastly, move so speedily from one place to another. But here in this poetry, in this stanza, the writer is saying that the train is running, the train is moving so faster, great in great speed than fairies and witches. This is basically comparison of the speed of the train with the speed of fairies and witches. And the poet is telling us that the speed of train is more than fairies and witches. That train is leaving behind the bridges, houses, hedges, and ditches. Okay? Beta, those who are just joining me, kindly write present in the chat box. Those who are just joining me, kindly write present in the chat box. Later on, I will take your attendance, copy down your attendance. Okay, and charging along like troops in a battle, all through the meadows, the horses and cattle. Here in this third line, the writer is comparing the train with the troops in a battle. Troops means a group of soldiers, an army in a battle who is ready to attack. Here the writer is comparing the train with a group of soldiers or army, just like a battle who are running fast to attack their enemy. In the same way, the train is running so fastly and speedily, it seems like the troops who are running to attack their enemy in a battle. The train is passing through the meadows, the horses, and cattle. Okay? So, first stanza is all about the speed of the train. The writer is comparing the speed of the train with fairies, with witches. The writer is saying that the train is running so fast, it is running fastly than fairies and then witches. That it is leaving behind the bridges, the houses, the hedges, and ditches. Now, in the third line, the writer is comparing the train with the soldiers, with the groups of army who are running fast in a battle, who wanted to attack their enemy. In the same way, the train is also running so fastly and speedily that it is passing by meadows where horses and cattle are also present. I hope this first stanza is clear to you. This first stanza is all about the comparison of the speed of the train with the speed of fairies and witches. The writer is saying that train runs so fast as compared to the fairies and witches. Okay, the train is just like a troop, the soldiers, the group of soldiers who are in a battle, who are ready to attack their enemy. The same way, the train is also in a form to run so fastly and speedily that it is leaving behind the meadows, the horses, the cattle, the houses, bridges, hedges, and ditches. I hope it is clear. Let's move forward now. The second stanza. All of the sides of the hill and the plain fly as thick as driving rain, and ever again in the wink of an eye, painted stations whistle by. So, what is the meaning of difficult words? Driving rain. Driving rain means hard rain, slanting rain. Tez barish, tufani barish. Charge means to attack. The wink of an eye means the time it takes to shut one eye for a very short time. But a wink of an eye means सिर्फ इतना वक्फा जितना हम पलक झपकने में लेते हैं, ओके। ओनली आई थिंक लेस देन अ सेकेंड, इतना वक्फा जितना कि हम पलक को झपकने में लेते हैं। Whistle by. Whistle by means when the faster train goes past a station, a whistling sound is produced. Okay? We all know, we all have experienced the railway journeys in our childhood days. Even in this age as well, we still experience the railway journey. And when train moves one station and goes past a station, it always produces a whistling sound which is known as whistle by. Okay, so in second stanza now, poet says that all the scenes of hill and plain were being crossed by train as quick as one drop of rain follows another drop in a storm. Again and again, in very short moment, train was crossing stations with a whistle. From the window of compartment of train, buildings of stations were seen as painted pictures. This is the explanation of second stanza. The writer is saying that all of the sides of the hill and the plain fly as quick as driving rain. The writer is telling us now the all the scenes, okay, all the scenes of the hill and the plain. She's better kindly write present in the chat box. Okay. All the sides of the hill and the plain are passing so quickly, so fastly and speedily, just like a heavy rain, just like a storm. Okay, because when it starts to rain, तो बारिश होना शुरू होती है. First of all, a drop. One by one, every drop falls on the ground. And after those drops transform or converted into a storm or a heavy rain. In the same way, the train is also moving from the hills and the plain. Every scene is changing one by one, so speedily and so quickly, it seems just like a heavy rain. जैसे बारिश होती है, एक एक कतरा जमीन पे गिरता है, जब एकदम से वो बारिश कन्वर्ट हो जाती है तेज तूफान में, तेज बारिश में. In the same way, the train is also passing through different hills, plain, different natural scenes one by one, but all these scenes, all these, you can say, pictures are changing just like a heavy rain. बिल्कुल बारिश के तेज कतरों की तरह हर एक मंजर बदलता चला जा रहा है. ओके, नाउ इन द सेकंड स्टेंजा, the writer is comparing the speed of the train. The writer is comparing the train just like a driving train. ओके, जो इतनी जल्दी हर चीज की तरफ से के सामने से गुजरती चली जा रही है कि जैसे बारिश, तूफानी बारिश एक कतरे के बाद दूसरा, दूसरे के बाद तीसरा और फिर एकदम से तूफानी शक्ल इख्तियार कर लेती है. In the same way, the train is also passing through one scenery, then the second one, then the third one, just like as a driving train. Okay, and ever again in the wink of an eye. और हर वो scene, हर वो मंजर, every picture, every scene is passing and changing again and again in the wink of an eye. It means कि इतना कम टाइम लग रहा है जितना कि हम लोग पलक झपकने में लेते हैं. Okay, the time that you take to shut one eye, even less than a second, the train is moving from one place to another place, from one scenery to another scenery. All these sceneries, all these images are being changed, are going to be changed even in the wink of an eye. And when we see those sceneries, when we see those pictures in the train, by sitting in the train in a railway carriage, all these pictures are seen like the painted pictures. बेटा जब आप लोग ट्रेन में बैठे हुए होते हो, जब आप रेलवे कैरेज में या कंपार्टमेंट में बैठे हुए होते हो, तो जो सामने से सीनरी गुजर रही होती है वो ऐसे लग रही होती है जैसे it is all painted. So what this writer wants means to tell us that whatever the images, whatever the pictures are passing by, the train is passing by, all these pictures are seen as they are painted, as they are painted images. Okay, I hope this is also clear to you. So let's repeat once again from the first stanza now. In the first stanza, the writer has compared the speed of the train. The writer has compared the speed of the train with the speed of fairies and witches. And the writer is saying that the train is moving more fastly than fairies and witches, that it is leaving behind the bridges, the houses, the hedges, and ditches. Then, in third line, the writer has compared the train with the troops. Troops means group of soldiers who are in the battle and ready to attack their enemy. In the same way, the writer is comparing the train with the troops who are running so fastly to attack their enemy. In the same way, the train is also running so quickly, speedily, and fastly that it is passing through the meadows, the horses, and cattle. Now, in the second stanza, all of the sides of the hill and the plain fly as thick as driving rain. In this line, in these two lines, in the second stanza, the writer is comparing the train with the thick driving rain. Okay, the writer is comparing the train with the thick driving rain, and he says that as one drop falls on the ground, and after one drop, that drop converts or changes into a heavy rain or storm. In the same way, when the train moves fastly or speedily, it seems like it is just like a heavy rain or a slanting rain. Okay, that it is leaving behind the sides of hill and the plain. Now, in the last stanza, in the last line of the second stanza, and ever again in the wink of an eye, painted stations whistle by. The writer is saying that every scene, every image is changing just in the wink of an eye. It means that it takes just a time to close or to shut one eye and to open another one. सिर्फ पलक झपकने में हमें कितनी देर लगती है सेकंड भी नहीं लगता इवन in less than a second, the train is changing the scenery. Every scenery is being changed even in the blink of an eye. And whatever the scenes, whatever the images, the train is passing by, leaving behind, all these images are just like they are painted. They are painted pictures. Whatever the stations are, the train is passing by, all these stations seem that they are painted. They are painted. Okay? I hope these two stanzas are clear to you. I have included only two stanzas in today's lecture. Remaining two stanzas I will include in the next literature lecture, inshallah. I have told you the meanings of difficult words as well. You can see the slide again. The slide is in front of you. Whether you have to learn the meanings of difficult words and you have to learn the explanation of the stanzas as well. Okay. The writer is basically comparing the train with different things. First of all, the witches and fairies. Then he compares the train with the troops. Then he says that the train is just like a driving train. And then he says that whatever the sceneries the train is passing by, going through, all these images are just changing in the blink of an eye, even in less than a second. And all these sceneries are just like the painted one, the painting pictures. Okay, I hope today's explanation is clear to you. I have explained. Okay, what is the theme of the poem? The theme of the poem is the joy that we get from traveling is the major theme of the poem. Okay, kindly write it down in the rough copy where you are writing today's notes, today's lectures notes, that the joy that we get from traveling. ट्रेन में सफर करने से जो खुशी हमें मिलती है बेसिकली दिस इज द मेजर थीम ऑफ द पोएम ओके द जॉय दैट वी गेट फ्रॉम ट्रैवलिंग is the major theme of the poem. Also, beauty of nature comes as a theme in the descriptions like meadows, the horses and cattle, sides of the hill and the plain, etc. The poverty of human beings is too is a theme. ये अभी आपने पढ़ा नहीं है. This stanza you have not read. In next lecture, we will read about the poverty and the Gurban. We will study about it in the next lecture, inshallah. As suggested by the scene in which a tramp looks excitedly at the train, this is all about the next stanza that I will include in my next lecture, inshallah. So till now, you have to keep in your mind that the joy that we get through traveling. Yes, Asra, 10th and 11th July are the last dates for the submission of homework. She's, I hope you have written present in the chat box, Beta. Okay, so Beta, what is the theme of this poetry? The theme of the poetry is the joy that we get from the traveling. Okay, the joy that we get from traveling. Basically, the joy of traveling is the major theme of the poem. Okay, this is what the writer experienced, whatever the writer has experienced in his railway journey while sitting in the train, in the compartment of the train, whatever he sees from the window, whatever the images he sees from the window are the experiences that he shares in this poetry from a railway carriage is basically an experience of the poet about the railway journey, about the train, about the pictures, about the images, about the sceneries that he has seen while sitting in a compartment of the train. Okay, so the stanzas that we have read today, in these two stanzas, the writer has compared the speed of the train. First, he compared the speed of the train with ferries and witches. Then, he compared the train with the troops. Then, in the second stanza, he compared the train with the hard rain or the thick driving rain. Then, he says, he given this description that every image changed one by one after another, just in the wink of an eye. Just in the wink of an eye, every images keeps on changing. Okay, Fabiha Beta, write present in the chat box. So this is all about the experience of the poet while sitting in the compartment of the train. Okay, so what you are supposed to do now, you are supposed to do review today's lecture carefully and thoroughly. Beta, you have to review the lecture. You have to learn the meanings of difficult words. You have to learn you have to learn explanation of the poem. Okay, Huria beta, I will check it later on. Huria beta, you are talking about which chapter? Can you give me the name of the lesson? Huria, give me the name of lesson beta, I will check it. Okay, you are talking about lesson number 2, 3 and 4. Beta, I want to make it clear that only the poetry will have words meanings. Okay? Only the poetry will have words meanings. The other prose section, prose section will not have words and meanings. Okay? Only poetry will have words and meanings that you are supposed to write in your literature journals, but the prose will not have words meaning. Am I clear to you all of you to clear? Am I clear to all of you now that only